Okay, moving on. So I kind of recorded my first thing, which I'm going to probably edit like from the beginning and from the end. And I kind of finished it by saying that I would like to give myself a chance to get out of the box. I would like to get out of it. I would like to not be in it anymore. Because if my plan doesn't work, and if the period that I was planning to give myself to get out of the box expires and nothing really works out, and it doesn't work, which happens, and which the fear inside of me is telling me, then at least I've tried. First of all, I've gained some new experience. I've talked to the camera. I've changed glasses to try to look better, and I try to gesticulating my hands a bit more to make people understand what I mean, even though I don't think it helps. But I, would, I just said to myself that you're going to do this for, let's say, 6 months, 12 months, a year. Give myself a year to actually try this. You can see my spine kind of like getting straighter and straighter and straighter as I talk. Give myself a year to pursue this. Give myself a year to believe in myself and to believe in what I'm trying to do. And to give myself some time to sit with this, and not only sit with this, but work on this, really work on this. So I am not sure if I mentioned, like, I said I want to be an artist, yeah, but I didn't mention that I actually want to be not simply an artist, I want to be a writer. I want to write books. I've been writing since I was 11 years old. I've been writing something long form since I was 28. I've only just finished, I think, I've only just finished some work that I'm actually ready to present to someone, to show to someone. And I think it's like a football game, so people are screaming outside of the window again. Sorry about that. France must have won, or like whatever, whichever team. So, writing. Let's talk about writing. Um, as I've said, I've been writing a long time. I've been wanting to be an author for, I mean, the longest time, probably all my whole life, probably last 5 years, like last 7 years, I don't know. I'm literally so nervous that my hands are like clenched together and I keep like nervously laughing and stuff. But I literally wanted to be an author for, I mean, I always knew that being an author is something that I will, I will be the best at probably out of all the stuff I did in life. Meaning that writing will probably be always be the best, my best skill or my best ability. Like, I mean, there's no other thing that I love as much as I love writing, and there is no other thing that I am so good at as I am good at writing. And I've always known that. When people who read my blog meaning, asked me, why do you write so good? Did you have education? Like, where does it come from? Why have you never made a career out of it? I always said, didn't think about it. But the truth is, I was too afraid, and I still am too afraid to admit I want to be a writer. I want the life of the writer. I want I want to be writing professionally. I was always too chicken, too too afraid, too afraid. I simply I wouldn't even admit the possibility of it. I wouldn't even admit the thought of it. Even though, like I'm saying, I got not thousands, but let's say hundreds of people reading my stuff for years now in my native language, so I will not give a description or a link, but still, I've got people saying that it's good. I've got my family asking me, why don't you write something new? Why don't you start writing again? I've got I've got this pull to this thing for as long as I can remember. I started writing at 11 years old, so I've got this pull, and it's pulling harder and harder and harder every year. And I keep pushing it away, and being like, yeah, I'll write for 2 hours before work. Yeah, it's fine. I'll write on vacation. I'll write in the train. I'll write in the plane. I'll write like, I mean, right now, I'll write during the night, in the morning, in between meetings. I think of ideas, I develop them. I think of characters, I write others' books. I go into bookstores and I look at the books and I'm thinking, why not me? But what I'm driving at is that for the longest time, for an absolute longest time, I couldn't even admit the possibility of it. I couldn't even admit that thought to myself that I wanted that. Do you understand? I couldn't even say, like, even now my voice is cracking. I couldn't even let the thought out, you know. I kept writing, I kept working on my blog, on my books, on my projects, on my manuscripts. I kept at it. This is one of my biggest victories in life, I think, that I kept insisting and insisting and insisting. But I couldn't even say, I couldn't even say it. I couldn't even define myself like that. I felt too, I felt too much fear. Too much fear. It was so gigantic. And I think I could record like 10 videos, 15, 20, 50, and the fear, it feels so big that it will probably be there by the 15th video. It will probably be there by the 17th. It will probably be there by the 208th. I mean, I couldn't even say I write books. I couldn't even say I want people to read my stories and to see my insight and to share my ideas and to be visible. I couldn't even show my work to anyone. For like 4 years, I think I was working on manuscripts and stories and stuff. And I couldn't even show it to people. you know, I'm laughing, but it's not funny actually. Like, it's not funny when you are like so passionate about this as I was passionate. When you are so invested, because I invested so much of my time into that shit. It's not even funny when you invest like hundreds of hours every year outside of your corporate job onto writing, and you couldn't even show people. You can't even show people what you're doing. You can't even say. And this is the type of shit I'm talking about. And by the way, also talking to the camera like I'm talking to right now was just unthinkable. Was just unthinkable, meaning like, what if my, I don't know, parents will see it? What if my ex sees it? What if my colleagues see it? What if all these people in my life will be judging me and telling me like, you don't look good, your like face is like this and that, your glasses are like this and that, you're smiling in a weird way, you're too nervous, like stop doing that shit. I mean, it's all I keep thinking about. But at the same time, I'm like, I've arrived at this point. I'm sitting here right now. So, you know. And it was the same with the writing. I was doing it in secret and doing it in secret and doing it in secret and reading my favorite authors so much and loving them so much and learning so much and listening to the audiobooks and admiring people who did all these readings and all this stuff and like following all the blogs and following all their YouTube channels and like so many wonderful videos on like submissions and querying and manuscripts and writing style and genre and fiction and everything. And then and then there was me with my anxiety, you know, and my fear and my shame. Me thinking like I'm not a person on YouTube. I'm not a person who deserves that. I'm sorry, I'm saying that and I'm like emotional. Like I'm not the one who does that. They do that. I'm not the one who can do that. Like I have a corporate job. I mean, you know, I'm not trained for this. I'm not ready for this. I'm not equipped to do this. I mean, I'm just not. That's what I kept telling myself. 10 minutes, 58 on the clock, so gotta wrap it up soon. But what I mean is, I think there are many people who sit their whole life really wanting to do something and trying to do something, like write a book, have a movie, be an artist, start a business, talk to the camera. They sit with it and they sit with it and they sit with it for years, but they're so terrified either to just begin because they're not as good as the most talented writers and creators out there, or they think it's not going to work out, or they're just so terrified of showing it to anyone, of admitting it to anyone, that they never do that. And I was that person. I was that person, and I still, to an extent, am that person who, like, progressed along this road, who wrote, who, like, put her work out there, like, found even better readers recently, like, got their work criticized, got comments, and, like, tried to worked on my writing and on my craft so much, but still now I'm like in the beginning of the journey where I'm going to try to get it published, and I'm at the beginning of the journey where I'm finally ready to at least talk about it openly, at least admit it, at least say it. And I do sympathize with so many people who are like, who never will even say out loud what they want, who will not ever admit to themselves, I mean, who are so terrified that it's not going to work out, that they're not even going to try. And I sympathize so much because that fear, I mean, I could talk for probably 100 hours about that fear. I could talk about the fear of being viewed, fear of being disliked, fear of being judged, and that stuff. But what I want to say and what I want to finish that video with is that I sympathize if you ever had something inside of you so strong, but was completely alone. If you ever were, completely alone and just nobody could tell you if it's going to work out or not, and you were terrified of getting off your path you were on, and you were terrified of just wanting, wanting something different. Yep.